Last year at MX, I had a couple of side conversations with Ruben, who came and said that he wanted to share some of his ideas. I'll let you sit over here so that people can see you. Share some of his ideas about some of the things he's been working on, some of his approaches to management at MX this year. And I said, that's great, I don't want you to do that. I actually said, I have an idea I want you to try out, which is something that I've asked for a couple of people sometimes and started and never quite matured. My theory is that we don't actually pay attention to what we're really doing throughout the year. That we make decisions on the fly, things are always changing, we know it's a very dynamic world. But I asked him to spend some time actually cataloging what is the real life of a design manager. Ruben works at Cisco. Do you want to introduce yourself?
Sure. I guess the official title is Senior Manager of User Experience, which is, many of you know, pretty much means everything or nothing, depending on how you want to look at it. I work for the voice technology group. At one point there were primarily phones, collaboration tools, and now that collaboration is the new unified communications. We now are part of a larger group that includes WebEx, telepresence, basically everything, everything that allows people to do a better job to talk to each other.
Yeah, good.
Yeah.
And you actually work, you have a relatively, what's the team size you work with?
We went from 4 people 4 years ago, and recently through a reorganization where we now have 100 people. So that includes visual designers, interaction designers, writers, some developer, front-end developers. For 100.
And you report up to the CXO of the telecommunications, right?
Yeah, I report to a director of user experience and Cordell Rutzleff.
Yep, gotcha. So he had a title change. What I asked is that you actually spend time taking video of yourself throughout the year to tell us what you were actually doing and what how you thought things were going to go, how they actually happened, so we could get a sense of what is it really like across a year of what's happening. What did you think you were getting into when you started this project?
I thought it was going to be easier. I thought, okay, I'm just going to put the camera, I'm just going to turn the camera on, I'm going to talk to the camera, and if I do this, regularly, if I do this often, I should get lots of good stuff that I can share with people.
Yeah.
That's what I thought.
Yeah, so how mechanically did you go about it? Was it like every Thursday or once a month, or what did you do?
Well, it actually right after the conference, obviously, I was doing it pretty often. Mm-hmm. But then as time went by, I think I did it maybe once a week. Then maybe I was like, okay, 3 weeks went by and I had not done any video. So then I had to remind myself, like, okay, you have to do this. And then actually what ended happening is that I always went back to the video, everything that something went wrong. Which kind of makes sense, I guess, So basically my computer became my shrink. Mm-hmm. And I basically started sharing all this, like deeply personal stuff with the computer, which obviously does not make for, well, actually, maybe does make for good conference material, but it was quite interesting.
Sort of sounds like it kind of became the equivalent of the reality TV show Confession Cam.
Exactly.
Yes. Okay.
Yeah.
And so. I guess 2 last questions before we actually look at some of your video. What did you expect out of the experience? What did you think was going to happen?
Good question. So I thought that maybe there would be primarily 2 main goals. So one, I thought, okay, I'm going to share this video. It is somehow somewhat personal. So perhaps some of you will relate to my experiences. You'll see yourself, in my shoes. Then I thought, okay, maybe some people in the audience will look back at the video, or will look at the video and then will think, Well, I was there, 6 months ago or a year ago, and I'm glad that, we were able to fix the problem. We got help or whatever. And then I thought, okay, so then there's going to be the other group that maybe after seeing all the problems or some of the problems or challenges that we have at Cisco, they're going to be like, ka-ching, let's go talk to Ruben because maybe we can sell him something. So there was a combination of those three things. Yeah.
Nice, nice. So before we roll tape, anything we should know? Any caveats? Any?
Oh no. And I think that actually, I was sharing this with somebody earlier today. I edited the video myself, which I guess gives it a. I recorded myself. I edited myself, so I basically chose to put in there, my version of reality. But the interestingly, I guess. Throughout today, I've heard a lot of topics actually touching on those things, and I can see, for example, Alex was talking about systems and change. Well, that's one thing that we have to deal with. I think it was Paul talking about setting expectations. Well, Cisco wants to be more than a router company, so okay, how do we go about that? How do we go, Janice was talking about, making sure that we reduce the waste. Well, how do we take something that works, in a small team, and then we make it available to, 100 teams or 50 teams? So I think that maybe my perception of reality is, very similar to what's going on out there. So,
yeah. Nice.
Yeah,
great.
That's it.
All right, so let's see it.
My apologies for that clip. I just couldn't resist. I want to thank George Lucas for episodes 4, 5, and 6. And I was advised to read the following. The scrolling titles and music by John Williams are copyright of Industrial Light and Magic. I, nor Adaptive Path, intend to receive any penny, no penny, from the broadcasting of the clip. This clip reflects my yada yada yada. Okay. Well, I want to welcome you to MX 2011. What do you think? So far, pretty good. I want to thank Brandon and Adaptive Path for inviting me. I guess I am sitting somewhere in the audience, maybe down there. Let me tell you a little bit about what I do. I work with product managers and designers to help define some of our collaboration products. Besides this role, I also work with other design and brand teams to help orchestrate consistency between all the different touch points that people have with the company. It sucks to commute. I spent about 15 hours on the highway every week, and man, it is not a very productive use of time. Okay, NPR one exception. Seeing things that I may never see again. I can't wait to get on the road again. On the road again. Like a bag of gifts, we go down the highway. We're the best of friends. Nobody should have this many meetings. Did you realize that they kind of look like the tiles in a chalk close painting? This is Cisco's first company-wide design event. For the first time, all of the user experience groups in the organization will come together to discuss and share their stories. The program, it's pretty cool. It will include sessions on research, interaction design, case studies. There's some panels with engineers, product managers, and designers where they talk about some of the things that they have learned in their organizations. It's about 7:30 p.m. I think. Yeah, 7:31. A little bit of a crazy day. Too many meetings, too many reviews, one-on-ones, working session during lunch. Pretty successful actually, but still during lunch. Many interruptions, trying to provide people with direction, or as I guess, redirecting traffic. So right now, now heading out home. Hopefully the traffic. There's a strategy that long distance runners use to be able to complete the race. They do this thing where they will break the race into small parts, which makes it easier to manage. Normally what they'll do is, as they run, they will choose an object that is close to them, and once they get to the object, they will pause, breathe, relax, and then move on to the next challenge. We have been working with Eric Spiekerman on our new Cisco font. Here's some of his work. We have now 5 weights, a condensed version, and a digital font for our devices. I forget sometimes that Eric has been my idol since I was a design pup. Coffee.
I love the smell of markers in the morning.
I also did a quick poll with the design team and asked them, how many of them had experience working in an agile project or agile methodology, and the results were pretty scary.
Bye, guys. Bye, Jeff.
Yes! Finally got Jeff Patton to conduct a series of workshops here at Cisco. A small team working in San Jose. Working on 2 small projects, and the main difference between this and some of the other things that we have seen so far is they have been designing, coding, and getting instant feedback right away for the whole duration of the project. Proof that we can make it happen, and also that the output, the deliverables, and the work can be outstanding. There are obviously other factors for their success. They have had solid requirements, strong communication. They're sitting right next to each other. And obviously, they can integrate the feedback right into the next iteration of the work. Designer. Design manager. And obviously,
Work.
yeah, what do I do at work?
Design phones.
What else?
Make phones.
And what else?
Gut.
Just stop playing the video.
What do I do
Stop
at work?
it. Just stop it.
What do I do
I
at
really
work?
don't know.
What do you mean?
I have chosen to take a lighthearted approach to share with you some of the issues and events my team and I faced last year. Like many of you here today, we are faced with many challenges, from an ever-changing competitive landscape to the need to improve our processes, and even in some cases, a lack of understanding of the value design can bring to a project. I try to be funny, but please know that the designers and the rest of the product teams at Cisco are busting their ass to change the way that we do things. Last year, Brandon asked us to wear our CXO hats and make a change. Brandon, I want to let you know that everybody in my team is wearing our own version of the CXO hat, and we're working to make Cisco a design organization.
So let's talk about that a little bit. Let's start with meetings. Does that feel familiar to everyone? Oh yeah. How do you actually design in meetings?
No, actually, I'll tell you something that I've been trying to get everybody to do. Cisco uses an Exchange server, so that basically means that if you use iCal, the Apple Calendar product, there's no integration. That's
Lovely.
That works. So basically what happens is that you get invited to all these things. You can choose the ones that you like, and then the other ones you just claim that,
I didn't get the memo, and so you use as your design time is the time you don't.
Yeah, that kind of
choose to
helps.
ignore a meeting.
Yeah.
Interesting. Block meetings, do design. UX day. How was user experience day?
That was interesting. Cisco does not have a centralized design organization, which sometimes makes it challenging to elevate, the design conversation, or actually to be able to, evangelize, I guess, at certain levels of the company. So something that we have been doing almost from day one since we arrived at Cisco almost 4 years ago, or 4 years ago actually, is that we have been just working with other teams in a grassroots capacity. And there was this small team, and they had, or they own the guidelines or standards for products. The team does no longer exist, but then basically between them and some of the other groups, we just created this day, and we went and talked to a lot of the executives, at least some of the ones that we thought were the user experience theme resonated with, and we invited them. We got their support. And it was basically a collection of, we brought people to, we got a room like this. We got a lot of the products to showcase whatever they were working on. And then we built a program that included, case studies, presentation, even a conversation with some of the executives, and basically, kind of put them on the spot to talk about what they thought design meant or user experience, and how they were or not incorporating that into their strategy. So,
wow. And what did you learn from their mouths? Were they closely aligned, or?
Well, it was interesting. For example, the vice president of our group. So obviously his message was a little bit different than perhaps some of the other people, because he's aware. Like we'll bring him stuff. He's involved in some of the things that we do. So, he was a little bit more positive. He had a little bit more, material to speak about. Some of the other executives, they understand. They understand, I guess, what design is or why it's important. But it's like it is common to hear, that buy-in, I guess, at some levels. But then that is not echoed through, the rest of the organization. So,
yeah. Yeah. So would you advise putting your executives on the spot about the value of experience?
Yeah.
Yeah?
Yeah, hell yeah.
Oh, hell yeah. Nice. You mentioned the mentality of the long-distance runner. Why is that important?
I think that something that happens to everybody, and again, some of the topics today have been, or maybe touched on that, is that sometimes you're dealing with a little problem, like, okay, what color we're going to use, what icon we're going to create, that kind of thing. But then at the same time, in your world, you're going to be dealing with, okay, how are we going to talk to this executive and get buy-in? How are we going to convince them that the quality of a product is not good, and that basically they need to stop the release? Okay. So unless you look at the forest, and then you look at the tree, and sometimes you have to look at the tree and just say, okay, the tree's there, I'm going to get there. And when I get there, then from there I can move to the next one. You're not going to make it. That's one way to think about, how to approach, the complexity of the challenges that you might face.
So how far apart were your trees this year in time? Are we talking hours, days, years?
Well, I think that there's plenty of work to do. Mm-hmm. Sometimes when I talk to people about, I work at Cisco, and it's really hard work and it's challenging. The question normally comes up. Well, it sounds like maybe you're not 100% sure, or what are you doing there? Why don't you just go and work at an agency or somewhere else? And the answer that I normally give to people is that, well, it is completely, and it's probably the most challenging thing that I have ever done. And sometimes sometimes it drives me nuts, and sometimes I feel like I'm going to throw the towel. At the same time, it's extremely challenging, and just knowing that there's this problem and somebody has to look into it. I mean, so far, I'm still smiling. So far, it keeps me going, and I think that, normally. It's really easy to, when you work at a large company, to talk to the rest of your team. And, there's a lot of things and a lot of decisions that get made to basically bring quickly the morale of your team. And normally the way that I frame that with the rest of the designers is, look, you can choose two ways. And, it's not, I try to obviously say in a very nice way, but there's those people that want to have these type of challenges. And there's the other people that want to have all the types of challenges. So if you're going to stay and you're going to be here, then you have to be 100% committed. You have to give it all. And if you don't, help yourself and look for something else.
Yeah, and it sounds like with long distance running mentality, you're having to recommit yourself as well as keep your team committed.
Yeah, you have to.
Yeah, nice. You mentioned the CXO hat, something I introduced last year, which is the challenge that even though our organizations may not have a chief customer officer or CXO, whatever that title is, that doesn't mean you can't put on an invisible hat that you walk around with during the day and try to make the same decisions you would if someone had actually given you that title. Did you have any CXO moments that you either did take or should have taken that you could share with us?
actually, something that I commented on for a little bit, I guess, the video. So we have been in this quest of the company to figure it out, Agile. It became a mandate, basically, that you guys need to do Agile, and you're going to start now. So basically, we have been been busy trying to get people to share with us how to do Agile. The teams, the project teams, claim to do Agile. And you go and talk to them, and then it's just like sometimes good things, but a lot of stuff that we can still work or improve on. And about, I don't know, 3-4 weeks ago, I learned about this small team that basically has been working almost under the radar. And what they decided to do, and basically breaking some of the rules, because they were breaking all the the processes that we have in place. The product manager got together with some designers. They got some engineering help, some front-end developers, and they basically kidnapped a conference room in our building. And they have been in that room, I don't know, maybe for 3-4 weeks, whatever. Every time that somebody wants to get have a meeting there, they get kicked out of the room. They basically is their fortress. And I saw, the output, I saw what they created, and it was great. It was awesome. And I don't think that any of them calls that Agile or Lean, or they just did the work. Mm-hmm. And I was not directly part of that. I just said, okay, designer, you need to work on that project. I, kind of stay away from it. But now the output is great. I don't think they talked about process. They just did the work and they made it happen. And now what I'm trying to do is basically take that and just replicate it, elsewhere. And obviously there's a challenge because, everything has to be by the book. Here we had maybe 15 people working together, very easy to figure it out. Cisco is everywhere. Most of our development is either in Europe, in India, China. So does that mean that I send the designers and the product manager to camp in China for 2 months?
Nice.
Something to do.
So you finished the video with a dedication to the designers and several others you wanted to name at Cisco. You're a funny guy, but you're obviously very also empathetic towards them. Can you talk a little bit about that?
I think that you have to. I mean, Brendan and I used to work together at Sapient, and I think that the funny thing though is that back then there was this whole thing about, okay, if you were the designer, the engineer guys, the business guys, they didn't understand what you did. Well, in a way though, we still kind of have sometimes those conversations, but also what we have learned through, and I know everybody's kind of aware of this, is that the moment that you go and say hello to your counterpart, you say, hello, my name is Ruben, and I'm going to be working with you, and then you just roll your sleeves and start working with them. All those other things kind of go away. So you make, the engineers become designers, you become a little bit of an engineer yourself, and maybe product manager. So it is basically just, you just need to kind of start doing the work. I think that so far what I discover is that everybody has good intentions. Everybody wants to do the best for Cisco. Somehow along the way, we have all this infrastructure that sometimes gets in the way to allow us to do that or to enable us to do that. So I know that even though we're still working and we can still make improvements, there's challenges, but at the end, everybody cares about the same thing. So I want to make sure that once they see this in YouTube, that that they know that everything that the company is working on and everything that they're doing actually it's going to make a difference.
Nice. Any last thoughts?
No, I'm sticking to it.
All right. So I want to say thank you very much for Ruben, because I think oftentimes when you come and share things at conferences, it's how can I make myself look smart and really ideal and that I'm doing all the perfect things. And I think you're able to help share, and I think this is the intent of asking you to do this, is I get asked all the time, how crazy is my organization compared to everyone else you've worked with? And they all are crazy in their own specific way, and everyone has problems. And I think by doing this, you're able to help just remind people that we're all dealing with a lot of the same challenges, and that nothing's perfect, but we all roll up our sleeves and try our best every day. So thanks.
Cool. My pleasure.
Thank you, sir.